Good morning. It is time to wake up and be wealthy. On today's episode, we are talking about the duality of how to navigate struggling and thriving all at the same time. This is something that I've been really wanting to talk about for a while. And I've been navigating putting it into words. And so I'm excited to talk about this because this is something that I don't feel like enough people are talking about. And so we get to get the conversation going. So especially with social media, we're always celebrating, the wins, right? Which is amazing. You see people announcing that they've hired somebody, when their baby is born, when their kids are doing exciting things in their business, when they're hitting certain business milestones, maybe they're leaving their job. Social media is so much all about the highlights, which is amazing because all of that good energy is very much needed. What can start to happen though is that we start to live in social media world where that is our reality, thinking oh, I'm going through some shit right now. I don't want to burden anyone. Then you start to navigate things alone. And then that's when things can get really lonely and sad, and no one else is going through these things. I remember when Emma was born, I just kept seeing all these people posting all these beautiful photos of their kids, and here I was, postpartum, needing to lose a bunch of weight and all of the things, and I just felt am I the only one struggling? Is it just me? And so that is one of the reasons why I feel so passionate about sharing the realness of it. But also to that point, I don't share every single little tiny thing of how I'm feeling and what's happening. And so I know that is definitely something that is happening for everyone, right? You're not sharing every single thing, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. And so I just want to open up a conversation about it's more than okay to feel any feeling that you're having. And especially being postpartum, I have had days where I am literally so tired. I am crying, sitting on my floor or the stairs and just feeling like a complete failure. That has happened many times over the last few weeks. You don't always see it, right? Because it's not necessary. But I think it's important to talk about because it is absolutely happening. And then in the same conversation, my business is thriving, my marriage is thriving, Emma's doing amazing, right? All of these big, beautiful things are happening in my world. And also there's moments where I am struggling. And I think it's just important to acknowledge that is human, right? It is possible to struggle and thrive at the same time. What I don't want for myself or anyone else is to struggle alone. So I've really made a promise to myself this round postpartum that I am asking for so much help. I'm accepting so much help, which is not the easiest thing in the world, but it's very, very needed. And so that was a big promise to myself, in that I wouldn't shame any emotion that I've had. So we're so conditioned and programmed that when you're crying to be why are you crying? Stop crying. To almost stop it, right? To mask it, to wipe the tears, right? But what that does is it stays inside. The whole goal of tears is to do a release, let those emotions flow. And so the more we can do that, the more we can work through them. And so I think it's just important to talk about this so much more because we're going to have hard moments. We're going to have all the emotions on the emotional wheel, and it's 1000% normal. Okay. So that is something I need you to know. The second thing is really making sure that you've got a support system around you. don't feel like you have to struggle alone. I was actually talking to somebody about coaching and mentoring because she's a rock star, and I was like, hey, like, I would love to support you. Let me know what you need, all of the things. And she said, I'm just going through some hard things right now, and I'm just doing some soul searching and thinking about things. And I encouraged her, like, that's the perfect time to seek support. Right? You are not broken. You are not a burden. You do not have to navigate all of those darker emotions alone. Like, let somebody in. And you can choose who that is. You don't have to tell the whole like social media world, like, hey, I'm having a shitty time right now, or I'm struggling. But let somebody in. Just even letting somebody in can do wonders. And especially like depending on like what you're navigating, obviously when it comes to mental health, please, please, please seek professional support, because that is very, very needed, especially when it's mental health related. So I just want to make sure that that is stressed. There's also days where, like, I think there's a lot of, there's a spectrum of mental health challenges. I have had them myself. And so, especially postpartum. So whatever it is, let somebody in, let them support you, let them love on you. When they want to do something for you, say yes, right? Like, say thank you, say absolutely, because you deserve that support. I think that is like the ultimate act of self-care, is allowing somebody to support you. And it's not as easy when you're a strong ass woman and you're like, I can do it on my own, but you don't have to. So going back to the conversation of the person that was like, oh, just right now is not the time. I was like, that is the perfect time to get support. Like, we get to normalize showing up in our pajamas with no makeup. Maybe you're crying. Maybe you're like, I'm having a shitty day. Maybe you're like, I am going through some ish. I am struggling. I am, whatever you're feeling, just say it. Feel it. Like, let it out. Stop masking it. Stop pretending that it's not there, because we can't heal it when we can't feel it, right? And so when we can just allow somebody in and show our true authentic self, no matter what is there, you can just be so much, like, you can just be taken care of on such a different level. It's just so important. And so I think it can be a mind fuck when you are struggling and then you have like moments where you're winning, right? Because I've had that over the last few weeks where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, my business is like blowing the fuck up. This is really exciting. I'm going to feel into that. That can also not feel safe, right? Where I'm like, can I handle this? Right? Like, I only have I just got 1 day of childcare. Like, can I handle this? Right? And so we get to feel all of these mindset challenges because they're there for a reason, and we get to work through them. So the more we can just bring them in and love on them, whatever thought, feeling, energy that you're having, the more we can just like bring it in and be curious and normalize it of being neutral, then we can really start to work through it. So I wanted to think of a few examples that have like been happening for me. The business one is a huge one. Also, something that I've been saying to myself, because there's so much silly programming of like mothers and working. You've heard me talk about it. It drives me nuts. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. When people are like, you get to rest. I'm like, I have a toddler, a German Shepherd, and a 6-week-old baby. Like, how, like, I can't always just like sit down and rest. That's not my reality. That's actually not helpful advice, right? So I think we get to like trust that mothers are going to do what they need to do, what they want to do. Obviously you can check in on them, but that's besides the point. But for me, it is really navigating that I can do big things with babies. And so for me, instead of saying, oh my gosh, what makes me a good mother is spending 24 hours with my kids. That is not true for me. It is the quality of the time that I spend with them. So like turning off my phone for even a hot second and like laser focusing on, Emma or Boone and like just cuddling them or holding them or playing with them or asking them questions or whatever it may be, the quality of the time for me is way more important than like keeping score of like how many hours I spend with them. And I've had to really work through that. My mother-in-law is now starting to watch Boone at least one day a week right now, so I can just have some time, right? Like if I want to work my business, work my business. If I want to take a nap, take a nap. If I want to clean the house, clean the house. But like that was like a really, I don't want to say tough moment for me, but I was like, okay, I know I want support, but I also feel guilty, right? Like I don't have to have this. My business is very automated. I've got a team, but it was more for me. It was my mental health. It was my energy. It was making sure I could like go and recharge so I don't have to struggle. Like the biggest thing that I want you to hear this morning is you don't have to struggle alone and you don't have to struggle all the time. I need you to hear that because when we're in the struggle, we can feel like it's never going to end. We do feel very, very isolated. And so when you're struggling, you already feel isolated. So if you don't invite somebody in or allow somebody in, it can get really, really dark. And so I just want you to embrace this journey of life and business. And if you've got kids, it's a lot, but you can hold it. You can do it, and you don't have to do it alone. That is seriously the most important thing that I want you to hear this morning is you don't have to do it alone. You are beautiful. You are amazing. It's okay. It's more than okay to let people in and ask for support. I actually, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but obviously I was pregnant. So I was diagnosed with ADHD in I think 2021. I kind of already knew it before, and then I love how it's been getting more normalized, which is really good. So I got diagnosed and like nothing changed. I was like, oh, okay. But I could start to get tools and resources to really like work with myself. So I started to like, re-engineer my work and just my life and everything in between to like help my brain. And just like accept and embrace, probably that's probably a better word, embrace that I'm just different. I always have known I'm different, but now this was like the symbol of like, okay, you are really different and that's okay. And so then we got pregnant soon after because life happens. But I'm excited because actually today, this morning, like right after this episode recording, I have a call with a doctor to get ADHD medication. I remember when I was younger and I knew I needed glasses. Okay. I knew I needed glasses and I couldn't see the board. It was like really, really blurry. And my parents are like, no, you don't need glasses. Like, because everyone in my class had glasses, so they thought I just wanted glasses like to fit in, which was actually kind of true. But it turned into like I actually needed glasses. And so then I failed my TIMSS test because I failed the eye exam. And so I finally got glasses. And I remember the day that I put the glasses on and the world, I'm not even joking, the world looked so clear. I was like, how, like, this is what it looks like? And I just remember being blown away. And this is such a good example for today's episode of like, when you live in the blurry reality for so long, it becomes like, this is just how it is, right? And so then when you allow support, you get the glasses, right? That's like the support, and you put the glasses on and you're just like, you're mind blown because like this is how the world looks. Like I've been missing out. I'm excited for that moment when it comes to ADHD medication because I really struggle with focus. It's really, really hard for me. And I can have all the tools, tools and resources in the world, but like it's okay to get medication, in my opinion. So I'm excited for that glasses moment again, after I like get, the right regimen and all of the things of like, watch out world, like watch out world, because it's gonna get good. And I'm excited for that because I don't have to struggle, because like right now without medication, without ADHD medication, I've only known this side. So I'm curious to see the other side. I could choose someday that, okay, I don't like that, I want to go back, and I can, right? Like we're women, we get to choose what we want, and that's the most beautiful part of it all. But I want to see what it's like on the other side, to see if it's that glasses moment again of like, oh my gosh, like, is this how everyone else feels? Is it just that easy to focus? Because it takes a lot of energy for me to like get into something. Then I hyper focus, which is a big thing for ADHDers. But then I'm so exhausted after, right? And then when you add on top of that being a mother and a wife and cleaning a house and, checking in with clients and all of the things, like it takes a lot of energy. And so like, I don't want to have to work as hard. And that's okay. So anyways, I just want to normalize the duality of struggling and thriving at the same time. You can feel all of the emotions and they can all be amazing and feel okay, feel normal, feel neutral. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be excited and happy, right? It's okay to feel anything that you're feeling, and anything that doesn't feel good to you. Like, I don't want you to stay sad. I don't want you to stay frustrated, so then we can move through it. And that's the biggest thing for me, for you. I don't want you to just stay there, and I don't want you to have to stay there alone. We can get through things so much faster when we allow support in. And so my promise to you is just to continue to show up as I am. This is part of it I've really been I've always wanted a talk show, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I just think that would be really awesome. And the beautiful part is I can have it. I have it right now, right? Somebody is watching. Hopefully it supports them. And that is what I want. And so then it gets repurposed on YouTube and our podcast and all of the things, right? So I want you to think of something today that you've been really wanting to do, that you feel like, man, it's not the right time. I don't feel like it. And it's something that you really, really want to do. So like the talk show was it for me. And this past weekend, I just was sitting there. I'm like, why am I waiting? Like, this is like, I mean this in the best way possible. This is silly. This is stupid. Like, get out of your own fucking way. Like, still have mindset blocks. Don't think I don't, because I do. I am human. And so I'm like, get out of your own fucking way. And that is the most powerful thing about doing mindset work, is like, you're still going to have challenges. I still have money blocks. I still have mindset blocks. I still have days where I don't want to do anything. And so the beautiful part about doing the work, though, is that you know how to move out of it faster. So I had that feeling, I had that thought of like, oh my gosh, someday I'll do a talk show and it'll be amazing. I'm like, I've got a phone. Why am I waiting? Like, I've got a voice. Why am I waiting, right? Now is the perfect time to get to it. And guess what? I woke up so freaking excited today. Like, I needed this. I needed a purpose. I needed a reason to wake up that felt good to me. My mornings are like my sacred time of before my babies are up. It's like my time. But I've been sleeping in so long because #newborn mom. But then I still am tired and I don't feel as motivated. And so this is just as much for me as it is for you, I hope. So my commitment to you is to show up every morning at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. I will be taking the weekends off. So if it's easy for you to tune in onto the podcast, they'll be like repurposed on the podcast as well, which is Wake Up and Be Wealthy. Maybe you're tuning in there now. Depending on when you're listening to this, but I just want you to be excited about your life, be excited about your future, and get out of your own damn way. Like, this is winning season for women, and the more we get out of our own damn way, we can make big things happen. No one can do that but you, right? Like, my team could be like, go do the talk show, you've got this, and I could still stay in my way. My coach could say, you can do it, like it's gonna be amazing, right? But I could still stay in my own way. So if it's to be, it has to be up to you. Everyone else around you is your amazing cheerleaders, your support system, all the things, but like there is a piece of it that is your responsibility, right? To step up and to say, okay, I'm going to come as I am. I am not perfect. I am going through some things, but I'm going to show up as I am, and it's going to be beautiful and amazing and probably inspire a lot of people, right? No one wants the perfect person. Like, we want other humans that are struggling and thriving at the same time and owning it, and they're like, yes, right? Like, I had so many tech issues yesterday, and I'm just like, oh, this is frustrating, but I'm gonna move through it. So we get to do this together. So I'm just so excited for you. I love you unconditionally. I want you to do something today that you've been wanting to do, but you've been getting in your own way about. It can be something small or big, but just decide. It is one of the most, like, it's an instant confidence boost, truly, of like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And then you do it, and then you're like, wow, why have I been waiting? So that is my challenge to you on the Wake Up and Be Wealthy show. My second challenge to you is to come back tomorrow. If there's any topics that you really want me to talk about, let me know. Send me a DM. I would love to hear from you. And I'm just excited to get back into sharing. This is what I love to do. It just really means a lot to me. And I'm excited. So I'll see you back tomorrow morning. Make it a great day.